Hey friends, this is Audie Cornish, host of CNN This Morning and The Assignment, and guess what? Every story you care about, every angle you want unpacked is now streaming on CNN. That means you can catch my show or other CNN programming whenever you want on your favorite device. And a subscription also gets you access to exclusive video series and unlimited articles. So subscribe to CNN at cnn.com/subscription.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Hedda's singing the Ballad of a Small Player in Shelby Oaks, and we're running a relay with the hand that rocks the cradle. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm Adam Ball, and this is Off Screen, your 7-day guide to everything movies.
Boom.
Groovy.
Hello, and welcome back to another week of Off Screen. We have some movies to dive into this week. We're going to look at, we got a lot. We're going to look at Shelby Oaks. We're going to look at Relay. We're going to look at The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, which I cannot wait to talk about in a little bit. But as always, we're going to start with the box office top 10 for the UK this week, and let's see how it's looking. I'll start straight at number 10. I don't think we've covered this one. Roofman.
No, we haven't, and I haven't seen it. And I hear good things about this. It sounds like it sounds actually like an old school studio programmer that just has the misfortune of being released in 2025. Because it's it's based on a true story. It's got actual names on posters like Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst kind of thing. It seems to be quite charming, but at the same time, it's not making a shed load of money. And that's just sign of the times. This kind of stuff doesn't now. Obviously, this will be big on streaming. It'll go to Paramount Plus in 6 weeks or so. But
I assumed it was another Jason Statham.
No, you would think that. No, that would be the roofer, wouldn't it? Be the roofer.
Oh, yes.
It would be the roofman. No, the roofer would be too easy. That'd be Jason Statham is the roofer. Yeah, they took his daughter. Now we'll get on top of them. There we are. Be like that.
I love that. I mean, that's what I was expecting. But yeah, that's at number 10 this week. At number 9, Tron Ares. It's been out for 3 weeks. Nearly 400 grand. I mean, that's not a lot, really, is it?
I mean, 400 grand for the weekend. In total, it's at 4.1 million quid. And to be fair, it is very lucky to have that. I mean, I'm going to say, by the way, when we get to about the top 4 on this box office top 10, we're going to have to breeze through a lot of them because I haven't seen them because it's just been a disastrous few weeks on the family side. But no, Tron Ares is abysmal. Like, it really is one of those films that I honestly can't tell who it's for because for newcomers, it's got naff all to offer. Right? For fans of Tron, it's basically an insult. And for anyone with good taste, it's got Jared Leto in it, so it sucks on every count. Like, I mean, there was a story going around. I mean, actually, by coincidence, I am wearing my Tron T-shirt. Right, I'm wearing the Flynn Lives T-shirt from Tron Legacy, a film I very much like. I thought this third one was garbage. If there's one thing Tron does not need to be, it's the serious version of Adam Sandler's Pixels, which is what this becomes. You know what I mean? And Pixels at least had a sense of fun. This doesn't. It's dour and self-important. And I just didn't gel with it at all. Good soundtrack, though.
Well, at number 8, you've heard of Snakes on a Plane, but have you heard of Pets on a Train? Because it's been out for a week. It's made 443 grand.
Do you know who The Asylum are, out of interest? Have you ever heard about The Asylum?
No idea.
So The Asylum are a low-budget horror label. Case Allen and Greg Byrne, all my friends in Sheffield, my film nerd friends, we were obsessed with this company in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And they made a thing called mockbusters. So whenever you had a blockbuster, they would make the mockbuster, the cheap, copyright-free knockoff. And when Snakes on a Plane came out in 2006, they famously released Snakes on a Train, and that was their mockbuster knockoff.
Brilliant.
And they do things like... They famously released Transmorphers as a knockoff of Transformers and things like that. That's what they do.
I like that.
Some of them are absolutely brilliant. But no, sadly, this is not one of theirs. This is a straightforward animated adventure. Didn't get the chance to see. I mean, it looked fine. It didn't look particularly offensively bad or anything. It looks like infinitely better than some of the ones I've seen. But it is just, kind of a train-based heist tale with animated pets, really.
At number 7, One Battle After Another. It's been out for 5 weeks and it's just over 10.5 mil.
I mean, I could smack talk this. I really could. Because it is one of those films that the Cardigans love. Right? The Cardigans absolutely love this film. They're heaping this thing up like it's the greatest work of cinema they've seen in the past decade. And more power to them. If they manage to see that in it, like, honestly, more power to them. The fairest, like, most objective thing I can say about, One Battle After Another, particularly in light of all of the positive criticism it's gotten, is that every single one of the million good things you've heard about One Battle After Another is completely true. All million of those things are in the film, but the fact that there are a million things in one film should tell you how overstuffed and messy this thing is. I didn't really get on with it. I thought Sean Penn was, kind of a lot of fun in there, and he'll get Best Supporting Actor on, I'm sure. This still will get Best Adapted Screenplay. I'll probably win that. But other than that, let's be honest, this thing is like it's going to get forgotten to history. I would love to smack talk it more, except for the fact that it's made double what Tron Ares has, and I don't really see Tron overtaking it, which is a damning sign of our era, if I'm really honest. But it's fine. It makes the Cardigans happy, and do you know what? Not that they ever actually outwardly show happiness. They're too busy, honestly, gargling at the teat of Francois Truffaut, or claiming to, at any rate. But neither here nor there. Either way, it's got its fans. I'm not one of them. It's probably going to hover around here for another week and then just disappear, I think.
Well, at number 6, I Swear, which you really loved, is 3 weeks now it's been out and it's made 4.1 million.
Yes, and I'm very glad about that. I really love I Swear. This is honestly one of my favourite movies of the year. I think it's heartwarming. I think it's heartbreaking. I think it's a whoop and cheer underdog story. I think it hits a few of the beats, quite a few of the beats that the Full Monty did for me back in its time as well. And you know what? As I'm always very fond of saying, a movie can only be so Scottish before Peter Mullen is obligated to turn up, and he does here, and he steals the show in an already jam-packed, full of great performances, circus that we've got going on here. I love this film and I can't wait to see it again. I've only seen it twice, but I loved it just as much both times. I left the cinema with floods of tears on both occasions. Not completely heartbroken because I had a chucklesome, hilarious time with it, but also very moved by it. I thought Robert Aramayo as John Davison, he's just terrific here.
Well, that's at number 6 this week. At number 5, The Black Phone 2. 2 weeks in the cinema, and that's made 2.3 million.
I didn't rate it. I really didn't rate it.
No, you didn't, did you?
I'm a big fan of The Black Phone. Like, for a minute, I was going to do The Grabber for Halloween. That was going to be I thought I'll print the mask, and because you only need to go out in black, then you just wear the mask. And I like the first one. And I watched it back, actually. I was away for a weekend. It was the opening weekend of the second one. And I was in a hotel in Bath. And I was deathly ill. And I watched the first movie we got back from the bar late at night, and I'm just like, dying. I think I had some flu or something. And I was in the hotel, I was in bed in the hotel, and I was flicking through, and I only had Freeview to go on. And Black Phone was on, I think, film 4 that night, like 11 o'clock. So I wound up watching it. And I'm like, actually, yeah, this holds up. It's still a very, very good movie. And also, now because I'd seen the second one already at that point, well, actually, this makes me like the second one even less now. Now that I have an even fresher set of eyes on the first one, I know like how good that one is. The second one is like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, but for douchebags, if you can imagine such a thing. It's like we want to make Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, but we really want some of that Stranger Things scratch. And also, we've got Ethan on a pay-or-play contract for sequels, and that mask is selling at Halloween, so let's get them all back. Didn't rate it at all. Did not like the second one. And this is the fact that it has Demian Bashir in it, another actor that I really love, but just did not work for me at all.
Okay, that's at number 5. At number 4, I think, is probably Van's favourite movie of the year, Gabby's Doll's House, the movie.
Right, we saw the trailer for this. We went to see the Bad Guys 2, and it was on a Sunday morning in Leicester Square, and Faith and I went, and we had her friend Caroline and Caroline's daughter with us. And I think her daughter's maybe like 13, 14, something like that, maybe thereabouts. And so we're sat in this like kids movie, and they start playing the trailers beforehand. I'd never heard of this movie by this point. This is the Bad Guys 2, so think like 3-4 months ago. they played the trailer for this movie to an audience who had no idea what it was. And I, honestly, halfway through Faith and I just turned to each other with this absolutely mystified look on our faces. When it was done, I think it was Faith who turned to me and said, I now know what having a stroke feels like. Like, that's the only way I can describe it, is this is how I imagine having a stroke feels. Or at the very least, an epileptic fit. And yeah, I have not seen it. I was given the chance to, but I was away that weekend. I'm like, no, I'm not coming back early for the sake of Gabby's Dollhouse movie. I've got an awards screener for this to watch, and I have not done it. No, I can't. This just looked horrifying. I will watch it and report back.
Please do. I feel like it's going to be punishment.
This is one for particularly the older of the two kids in your life. I think she'd really enjoy this because it looks like it's geared to her. Specifically to that age, because she's 10. She's 10. Yeah, I think this looks very much in that wheelhouse, the 8 to 10 demographic, but specifically female. Has got Kirsten Wiig as the villain, though, weirdly.
Oh, didn't even know that.
Yeah,
all right, on to number 3. Again, one I don't think we've looked at, Chainsaw Man, the movie Reze Arc.
Anime, this one, and also doing very, very well at the box office. Haven't seen it. Weirdly, there was a press show for this, which almost never happens for anime. But no, I have not seen it. I'm aware that there is some popular song going around from it as well, but that's about all I know.
And number 2...
I've not seen the next two either before you say, but I will tell you about it.
Right, okay. Number 2 is Regretting You. That's been out for a week, and that's on 1.2 million, which isn't bad for a week, is it? Let's be honest.
No, but this is meant to be the big follow-up kind of project to It Ends With Us, because it's another book by the same author, Colleen Hoover, and this one stars Alison Williams from Girls and Get Out, an actress I adore, alongside Dave Franco, who, can we just take a minute, by the way, and celebrate Dave Franco? Like, he has finally transcended being Dave Franco's brother. That's a thing he's not doing anymore. Like, that's terrific. Like, people now know who Dave Franco is. Like, James Franco is Dave Franco's brother and not the other way around. The man did it. Hats off to him. But I hear the movie's not particularly great. I mean, I'll find out for myself. I didn't see It Ends With Us until quite late in the game. But based on that, I'm not, hoping for an awful lot.
I can't remember whether you've seen this week's number 1 or not. Springsteen,
No.
Deliver Me From Nowhere. You haven't, have you?
No, I haven't, if you remember. No, because I had to go away suddenly for family reasons. No, I didn't get to see it. I was quite saddened about that, because I don't know anything about Bruce Springsteen. You know what I mean? He's someone it would be quite interesting to watch a Springsteen biopic, because I don't know Springsteen stuff. And it's interesting to me. It'll be like, oh, that's where that comes from, and oh, that's that song, and it would be that to me. And so I am looking forward to it, and I expect we're going to hear a lot about it in the run-up to awards season. Like, that will take the place this next year to what the Bob Dylan one did this previous year. Like, I think we're swapping Bob Dylan for Bruce Springsteen, like, in the musical biopic awards bit for the next year. So get used to this movie, even though I don't think it's going to make much money past the opening weekend.
No, like I said to you last week, posthumous things like this work better, I think. But
where's the fans for Bruce Springsteen in the UK?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'd watch it because I'd like to learn more about him being a musician myself, but it's not something that I would, be diehard fan to watch. But okay, that's at 1.3 million, and that's at number 1 this week. We'll see what Van thought of Shelby Oaks and Relay then in just a sec.
My favorite thing about Shipt since I signed up for Target Circle 360? No price markups when I order same-day delivery from tons of local stores. Only a handful of alcohol retailers and items don't count. I won't lie, I've had too much fun being like, markups on groceries? Not in my fridge. Markups on pet food? Not for my DOG. Markups on tools, electronics, home goods, meds? Not in my house. Anyway, it's awesome. Order now at shipt.com/360. Terms apply.
Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. We are going to dive straight into our next new movie, actually, our first new movie of the week. It's a psychological horror, and it's called Shelby Oaks. I literally know nothing about this.
Do you know who Chris Stuckman is, out of interest?
Now, it's weird you say that, because if I look at his name, all I think of is the creator of Friends, but I know that's not correct.
It's not, but okay. So Chris Stuckman, this gets a bit like inside baseball here. So The idea is you've got Chris Stuckman, who is a YouTube-based film critic. Like, very much of our particular ilk. You know, he's a man in front of a virtual background of, you know, VHS shelf, etc. I've always found it a bit annoying, personally, but that's just film critics for you. We are all annoying in our own unique ways. But he decided to try and be the one who, you know, I'll actually go and make a proper film. So, hats off to him. The man put his money where his mouth is, went and got the funding, and has now made a horror film. So here it is. It's the thing I find really interesting is every time I say to someone, "Oh, Shelby Oaks," they immediately come back with, "Oh, the Stuckman movie," because that's anyone who knows what Shelby Oaks is immediately says, "Oh, the Stuckman movie." It means they also know who Stuckman is. So the idea here is, and the Stuckman element is kind of interesting when you start breaking down what the film is. The story basically revolves around a missing group of YouTubers. They were early pioneers in the early days of YouTube. They ran a sort of ghost hunting, you know, most haunted type program.
Yeah.
And they've gone missing, and years later, the older sister of one of the victims sets out to find out what happened to her sister. You know, new evidence comes to light, she sets off and basically retraces the ghostly steps. So I've got a clip for you. This is from Shelby Oaks.
Riley Brennan is now missing. She was last seen in Shelby Oaks.
There is a dark and deeply haunted history in the woods of Shelby Oaks. My sister isn't the first to go missing.
What's left in Shelby Oaks is death and rot.
I really like the sound of this, and I sort of feel like he should know how to make a good movie.
I mean, that's the thing, actually. He does, but, I mean, a little restraint goes a long way. I don't think I've ever actually seen a movie that's so loudly directed, if you know what I mean. Like, it's a well-directed movie. It's one of those where you know, there's that sequence in Family Guy that went viral in which Peter Griffin says, "I never cared for The Godfather." It insists upon itself. And this is one of those where the direction of this movie insists upon itself. Like, every single shot of this is cranked to 11. Even when it has no earthly reason to be. Where it can just be two people having a conversation, and he shoots this thing like it's a goddamn music video. I mean, it is cranked to buggery, this thing. It's not. I don't think it has the material to justify any of that, and it's quite a paper-thin, kind of worn, concept. It's basically a thin retread of sort of Blair Witch, but done with this attempt at a sort of meta YouTube commentary, which is quite badly thought out from someone who made their living for such a long time on YouTube. Because they don't seem to have he doesn't seem to have an awful lot of an idea as to what YouTube looked like in the early days and how it actually ran. He, for instance, depicts an early YouTube show as looking like Most Haunted, like it's an actual cable show. You're like, no, that's not what YouTube looked like at all. And I'd expect a YouTuber of all people to know that. But, you know, that's just me, you know. But, you know, if a Formula One driver directs a movie, I expect his car scenes are going to be pretty good. I expect a goddamn YouTuber's going to know how YouTube works. But, you know, that's just a niggling little thing. The problem, I think, here is it's quite worn material that's then delivered in this really over-cranked, needlessly in-your-face, yes, insisting upon itself way. And I just couldn't gel with it for that.
Okay, well, if you want to check it out yourself, Shelby Oaks is in cinemas from today. Let's move on to our next then. We're going to look at Relay now. Again, another movie I don't know much about at all, but all I know is it's a bit of an action movie, isn't it?
It's more of a thriller. More of a thriller, I would say. Imagine Michael Clayton meets Enemy of the State, if you will. Okay, so a new movie from David Mackenzie, who I believe, what was that movie I hated that David Mackenzie made? Fox specifically phoned me to try and get me to change the review. Start Up! That was it.
Did they really? That's brilliant.
They really did. 11 years ago, back when we had regional reps for movies, the regional rep for South Yorkshire for 20th Century Fox phoned me for 40 minutes to try and get me to, because I was waiting to go into a screening of Under My Skin, the Scarlett Johansson one at the time, and they had somehow accessed my review early and were gobsmacked. I hated this movie. I'm sorry, it was garbage. Seen it all before. Didn't impress me. Just call me Shania, because that didn't impress me much. Anyway, so, new movie from David Mackenzie, which I'm happy to say is an infinitely better time, right? Stars Riz Ahmed And Riz Ahmed is the ultimate anonymous fixer, the ultimate facilitator. And what he does is he specifically takes on clients who are whistleblowers for big companies and corporations who are, going to like pull a Snowden and, publish the confidential documents. But he facilitates them getting their documents from point A to point B, keeping them safe, etc. He takes on a new client, Lily James, who wants to blow the whistle on a new kind of like super wheat that's, meant to cure famine, etc. But she's found out that it has dangerous side effects. She's been threatened, and all she wants is just to give the documents back. She wants no part of this. She wants to give the documents back. So she goes to Riz Ahmed for help. He takes her on as a client, and the title refers to his method of communication, which is he uses a relay service for the deaf, so that deaf people can make phone calls. They literally type, and an operator on the phone gets the information by text and verbally repeats it to the other person and then types their response back. And that's how he preserves anonymity, because under US Constitution, they're not allowed to keep records of the calls. You can't keep records of someone's private phone calls, so it's the ultimate secure way for contact. However, the people that she has blown the whistle on are also out for her, and more importantly, they also seem weirdly fixated on going after Riz Ahmed as well. So I've got a clip for you. This is Lily James taking her first phone call from the relay service.
Hello, this is the Tri-State Relay Service.
Yes, hello?
A person is calling through the relay service. Have you received a relay call before?
I don't think so.
The person who's called you is likely to be deaf or hard of hearing. The caller will type their conversation and I'll read it to you. When it's your turn to speak, I'll type everything you say to them. Please speak directly to the caller and say go ahead when you're ready for a response. No calls are recorded and everything you say is confidential. You are Sarah Elizabeth Grant. Your social security number is 95800. You were employed by Cybo Cementis Research Institutes, tax ID 990890590, based in St. Louis. Is that correct?
Yes.
If finished, please respond with go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wow, I was totally sucked into that, and I'm not even watching it. I'm just listening to it, and I could have heard another 5 hours of that.
Right, I was really into this. I got really hooked into this.
Yeah.
Now, there's the weirdest thing about this, actually, and this is actually kind of a positive weirdness. Like, there's that weird thing like with the relay service. You're like, okay, what a strange, like, interesting thing to discover, and obviously you would put that in a movie because just who knew that existed. There's then a sequence in which Riz Ahmed's character goes to buy a fake passport for Lily James, and his facilitator, the guy who produces the fake passports for him, is also deaf. And Riz Ahmed does the sign language, does the ASL, and communicates with him, and it's all subtitled. And then it hit me. In that moment, it hit me. Of course, Riz Ahmed did Sound of Metal, didn't he? Got awards love for that. Nearly won an Oscar for Sound of Metal, where he was the metal drummer who was losing his hearing. And Riz Ahmed, being Riz Ahmed, obviously went and did his research, put in the work. So of course he's got all that in the tank. So he's putting that to use. Obviously, when he was picking projects for the next thing a thriller that also involves elements of the deaf side. Okay, I'll use that as well because I can put that to use. Makes all the sense in the universe. Hats off to him. Like, what a great thing to have in your repertoire. Oh, yeah, he does a lot of movies that have to, to explore culture for the deaf. Okay. It's a strange niche. I'm a big fan. I think the film is excellent. It's got exactly one twist too many. Right? It's got exactly one. Right? And it's the last twist. You'll know it when you get to it, and you'll be like, that's got to be yeah. From how he's described it, I guarantee you that's what he was on about, and that means this is the last twist. You'll have that moment, and I actually thought the film didn't need it. Like, I thought the film was doing really well by that point, so well that it's got Sam Worthington playing a villain, and I didn't mind him in it. Like, Sam Worthington is one of the dullest actors alive, and yet, actually, I kind of really got on with him in this. This was him back on Man on Ledge form. So, yeah, it kind of works. But ultimately, it's Riz Ahmed's show. I think the writing, the performances, the way that the relationship between Riz Ahmed and Lily James is played, like the tension that builds, sort of this kind of infatuation between the two of them, I bought into. I thought was a really compelling bit of writing and performance. I was a fan on the whole. I thought Relay was really good, but as I say, one twist too many.
Well, it certainly whet my appetite to see it. I thought that little clip you just played sounded awesome. So if you too want to go and see it, you can. It's in cinemas from today. Just look for Relay. Okay, in a moment, we are going to check out Ballad of a Small Player, and I'm really interested to find out more about The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. We'll find out in a second what Van thought of them both. Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. We have got Hedda to look at. We've got The Hand That Rocks the Cradle as well. But we're going to dive into another new movie that's on Netflix from now. And it's called Ballad of a Small Player. Now, from what I can make out, this is sort of like a bit of a thriller, and it's to do with gambling. Is it set in Vegas by any chance?
No, Macau in China, actually.
Oh.
Right, so this is the new movie from Edward Berger. Now, Edward Berger's last movie was kind of notable. If you remember, it won an award or two. I speak, of course, of Conclave, the papal election movie from last year with Ray Fiennes, which was huge, and we loved that movie. Like, you didn't expect to ever be that thrilled by the election of a pope, but, you know, that Conclave exists. So, Edward Berger's follow-up to that, Ballad of a Small Player, this stars Colin Farrell as a down-and-out sort of British expat gambler in Macau. He's got the sort of pencil moustache, the ridiculous toff outfit, and yellow leather gloves. He sort of hangs about the casinos all day. And he's not doing well. He's literally surviving day to day, like can barely afford a drink type. And he befriends a young woman in a casino who's initially offering lines of credit, and she sort of spurs him onto a whole new way of sort of conducting himself. He thinks that may get him out of his set of circumstances. However, he is as much self-destructive as he is stricken by bad luck. So this just gets worse and worse, and it's not helped by Tilda Swinton turning up as a debt collector, seeing very quickly through all of his charming ruses and discovering he's actually even more pathetic than she actually already believes him to be. So have a listen. This is Colin Farrell in Ballad of a Small Player.
No more credit.
Look. I find myself in a bit of a bind.
You're just a nice working-class Irish boy in way over his head.
I'm about to win big, and when I do, I won't just pay my debts off, I'll pay yours too.
What I see is a man way beyond any redemption.
I really like the sound of this, and I've just been watching the trailer on mute while you were playing that, and it looks like it's got a fair bit of action in there, a fair bit of stuff to watch.
Good-looking movie, though, as well.
Yeah.
Right? It's a really good-looking movie. Like, right, you know what I said earlier about the direction of Shelby Oaks and how it was cranked to 11 kind of thing all the time? This kind of does the same, but with cinematography. Like, it's not the direction, it's entirely the cinematography of it. But then you remember it's Edward Berger, and it kind of works. It works because it fits this story, which is quite heightened and surreal and almost madcap at times. It's very obvious that Colin Farrell's really getting to have his cake and eat it with this one. Because at once he's getting to do the kind of madcap character performance that he's very good at. You look at how he disappeared into The Penguin, for instance, or in Bruges, the Banshees of Inisherin, how he can disappear into these roles. But at the same time, in a sort of wacky, colourful, vivid mainstream way. But at the same time, he also gets to do one of those sort of off-kilter art movies that he used to do. When Hollywood was desperately trying to make him the next big thing, but he just kept going off and making things like Snow Falling on Cedars.
Yeah.
Which I don't think anyone's ever seen. I know I haven't, and I'm a fan of Farrell. But yeah, it's one of those. Swinton, in particular, is a lot of fun here. Getting to almost Snowpiercer-like form. We get Swinton on here as well. But as I say, the big star of it is those visuals. It's the energy to it, and it has very much the same kind of cadence as, for instance, The Gambler with James Caan. There was a remake of that with Wahlberg, I think, about 10 years ago. This has very much a sort of Gambler kind of an energy to it. It is about this sort of psychological heft of all this, as well as being the sort of chase him and beat him down thriller. Like I say, it's very much playing in both of those wheelhouses for Farrell, and I quite liked it. It's not quite as manic as the trailer makes it sound from that clip, but it's close enough.
Yeah, no, it looks, like you say, gorgeous cinematography, and you can see him in quite a lot of these scenes that they've shown on the trailer, overacting, essentially, like you say.
It's the sweatiest role Colin Farrell's
Yeah.
ever had. Because honestly, the man is just caked in sweat for the.
Yeah.
You really do. Like, they actually filmed this in Macau because they're not faking that level of sweat.
No, he looks like in most of this movie he would probably smell.
Yeah, very much, yeah. He just smells of, like, sweat and cheap cologne, definitely.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, if you want to watch it, you can. The Ballad of a Small Player is on Netflix from now already, if you want to go and see it from the comfort of your own home. Okay, on to the next movie. I'm looking forward to hearing what you say about this, because I loved the original. It is The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. It's a remake, and it's on Disney Plus it's already on there.
Right, as you point out, remake of the 1992 Curtis Hanson thriller, which starred Annabella Sciorra, Matt McCoy, Rebecca De Mornay, and Ernie Hudson. Ernie Hudson was the Gardener Solomon, wasn't he? And who was the little girl in it? Because she wound up becoming the one who ruins David Duchovny's life in Californication. I didn't know that. Madeline Zima. The child in the original Hand That Rocks the Cradle is all grown up and ruins David Duchovny's life in Californication, and that is Madeline Zima. Anyway, Right. So it's just horrible brain. I wish I could switch it off occasionally, but I remember everything. It's awful. Anyway, so we've now got a remake. This time around, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is the mum. I cannot remember the name of the actor who plays the husband because he's kind of forgettable. And they are this sort of upper middle class couple who take on a nanny to, look after their newly born second child. Said nanny is if you know the original, obviously the film is told in very different ways. In this version, something's not quite right with the nanny, and mum starts to think that the nanny is trying to usurp her and undermine her. For what reason, she couldn't possibly say. But it starts getting more and more psychologically intense until the big reveal comes and something's not quite right with the hand that's literally rocking the cradle. So, here's a clip from 2025's Hand That Rocks the Cradle. I will explain the differences in a moment.
The place I went to live, the only thing they had to eat was tuna fish. That's silly. It is. But it gets even sillier than that. There was no mayonnaise. No lettuce. No bread even. I had to eat the tuna out of a can like a cat. And when there was no more left, there was nothing left to eat.
I would definitely watch this again because I don't know if I've told you the story about this, but I watched The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, the original, when I was probably about 9-10 years old. I probably shouldn't have.
Same, actually. Yes, I think I was literally 9. It was my first year in QA.
My mum didn't know.
Yeah. Right. It's iconic, isn't it? The original Hand, it is iconic. And it's iconic really only to people over 35, I would say. It's one of those films like Death Becomes Her that it's a banger. You can show it to people now and it's still a banger. Some bits haven't aged well, but, to anyone over 35, it's a seminal text. Right. Obviously, one of the big things about the original movie is the original is told in a linear fashion. We know early on, like from the minute one, we know what the story is with the nanny, and it is played out in that way, so there is never any mystery as to what she's doing. Here, they've tried to keep that a mystery and do it as a big reveal later on, and the film simply does not work. Because for the long... Go on.
It wouldn't, because everyone's seen the original.
Well, I mean, there is that, but no, remember what I'm saying? Like, no one under 35 has seen the original.
Well, yeah, all right, I suppose if you're younger than that, yeah.
This is trying to be a glossier, sexier movie for 2025, but it's not quite interesting enough, and it's not thrilling enough. It's too laboured, it's too slow. The chemistry between the two leads simply isn't there. It is weird that the more stilted 90s version did more with the chemistry between the two than they do here. Chemistry that is so barren that at one point, in fact, it's a couple of points early on in the movie, there is a half-hearted attempt to introduce an LGBT aspect, a same-sex attraction aspect between the two women that they kind of give up on as soon as they start. This also leads to one of the most horrifying things I've seen a writer try and pull off in a movie in quite some time. Remember, if you don't know the original, obviously you don't quite know what the score is with the nanny. One of the ways that we're expected to believe that she's attempted to, usurp the mum is it literally translates to, "Ha, I made your child gay." Which, for a movie being distributed by Disney, that's really saying something.
Whoa.
I mean, I know Disney have had their issues in that space, politically speaking, in the last couple of years, especially in Florida. But god damn. Right, so there's that. The casting is rubbish. Micah Monroe simply does not work in the Psycho role. The newly revised backstory for the nanny doesn't work. It's too convoluted. It feels crowbarred in at the last minute. It just doesn't quite work. And I was initially annoyed at them removing one particular element of the backstory, because in 2025 that would hit somehow a lot harder. Post Me Too, it's something that films explore in a very different way, and it would be very interesting. I would like to point out that because my partner had never seen the original until she watched this, she hated it, and she said to me, "I'd be quite interested to watch the original now, because I feel like there was a good movie in that concept, but just that was a terrible version of it." And I went, funnily enough, that is exactly what's happened here. You've got a very good concept that the original did very well, and they have just fumbled it on this occasion. That's pretty much the case here. Also, they have dropped the entire Ernie Hudson as the gardener bit. That is not in this movie, because I don't know if you remember how he played that.
Trying to remember now.
He was quite severely learning impaired. Let's just say that. And he played...
Yes, he was.
We've all forgotten that, haven't we? Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't until I was watching it back, I forgot they did this. Yeah, I forgot they got Winston from Ghostbusters to do this. And yeah, somehow it still doesn't put anywhere near as much of a black mark on the original next to the new one as you'd think, because the new one really is garbage. Like, honestly, it's crap. Nothing about this works. And if you can't spot the glaring Chekhov's gun, proverbially hanging over the fireplace from about the first minute of this movie, you should stop watching movies, because it's so in your face. You're like, yeah, you really did make this for under 35, didn't you? Because you've made this as stupid as it can possibly be. Yeah, I hated it. It is an insult to the name The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. And honestly, they would have done a lot better off just literally calling it anything else in the universe. Just call it The Nanny, and it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? It always seems to be the way, in my opinion, that sequels or remakes, especially, are never as good as the original. It just doesn't work. But there you go. If you do want to check it out, it's on Disney+, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle remake. We're going to be back in a moment. We've got one more movie to look at. We're going to see what Van thought of the movie Hedda. Stay where you are.
Oh, the sick day struggle is real. But with Dimetapp, it doesn't have to be. Children's Dimetapp works quickly to soothe multiple bothersome cough, cold, and allergy symptoms in a single dose. Our fast-acting formulas are designed with kids in mind, so they get everything they need and nothing they don't. Available in liquid and on-the-go chewable tablets. Tap the banner now to shop at Amazon and say goodbye to the sick day struggle with Dimetapp. Use as directed.
Hello and welcome back to Off Screen. We have one more movie to cover for this week, and we're going to look at the movie Hedda. So we're kind of changing genre a little bit here. We're into like drama romance now.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I don't quite know where to come at this one from. I know where I want to go. I'm just not quite sure if I'll get in. Right, so adaptation of a play from, I think, 1891.
Whoa.
Like, not even kidding. So it's Hedda Gabler, I think the original play is called. And Hedda Gabler is the name of the character here. And what writer-director Nia DaCosta, formerly of the Candyman reboot, The Marvels, the upcoming 28 Years Later Part 2, The Bone Temple, that's hers as well. What she has done here is take the original 1991 text, and in her words, reimagine it. She has basically taken the same sort of concept and plot, transplanted it slightly more forward in time. It's more of a Gilded Age kind of a setup, and added a racial component as well, in that our lead here is African American. She's played by Tessa Thompson. So our Hedda here is the daughter of a well-regarded, well-known, but ultimately penniless former general, military general, who has passed away. She is used to, a certain lifestyle, a certain upkeep. This hasn't happened for her after the father's death, and she has entered into a relatively loveless marriage with an aspiring academic who's up for, the next big tenure, the next big promotion, and she basically is the ultimate schemer wife. She sort of works as his fixer. He has a gathering, a sort of work party at the house, for her to manage and cater, but also to run interference and sort of do all the politicking for him, to manipulate this person that's doing this and etc., and get him the gig. All of which is made infinitely more complicated when her former muse / lover arrives and presents herself as a rival candidate for the position that Hedda's husband is going up for. And the pair, Hedda's husband and former flame, are both competing to impress, this on-high academic who really needs brown-nosing for the evening. And we get to see Hedda in full swing, and also just how far she's willing to go, personally, professionally, whatever, to achieve her goals and desires. So have a listen. This is very much the tone of this. Think Great Gatsby, but it's all set at the party, and it's just people manipulating one another.
It's all right for Thea, but not for you. You can write your books with them and teach with them at the university, and you might even be able to get jobs alongside them. But they'll never really respect you if they think you can't do it like the boys
Hedda,
do.
please.
You saw Greenwood's face earlier when you asked for a soft drink, like a soft woman.
What did you see?
Condemned.
I'm used to contempt.
Condemned for your extracurricular interests, yes, but for your mind, your character.
He can think what he likes.
A woman of principle.
Personally, I would get bored with this, I think.
You'd think you would. You would think you would. Because I'll be honest, within the first 5 minutes, I thought, I'm going to wind up getting bored here. No, I did not, sir. Now, I have just had to check the runtime on this. Because that was the thing. I lost all sense of time. Because as you can tell from that clip, it's a very dialogue-driven film. It's a very talky film. And you kind of lose what the sense of how long the film actually is by the time you get you get brought into it quite early, but you then sort of lose all semblance of that. An hour 47, which I think actually feels about right. I think you could have shaved about 10 minutes off, the give or take. But I was really taken by it. I can see what they were going for, and I think they've achieved it. And I think it's going for something like a more subdued Gatsby. There's even the use of anachronistic music here and there as well, but this is all heaped upon the shoulders of Tessa Thompson. And Tessa Thompson, great actress anyway. Like I'm very firmly on the Tessa Thompson train, big fan. And like I say, Nia DaCosta, love Candyman. Looking forward to seeing what she does with Bone Temple. Wasn't a fan of the Marvels, if I'm honest. But I think the pair of them evidently work quite well together, because there is an energy to this. There is a flow, a rhythm. It feels like watching really great jazz. But the performance equivalent of it. It's a very sparky, very pithy film. It's very much a film about, the slightest innocuous comment can be taken 6 ways. And it really delves into and unpacks these characters. I was really won over by it, and I did not expect to be at all. But I think that's really sharp writing. I think the direction of it was, quite a stage show, a stage play-like structure, because it's adapted from one. And it's kind of kept to that. It doesn't really exceed that. But there's some visuals in here. There's some visuals in here that I found really arresting. There's some performance in here I found really captivating and engrossing. But more than anything, I think it's just about story that I found really intriguing, engaging, and interesting.
Well, if you felt the same at the start as I just said I would probably feel, and you didn't, I mean, worth giving it a go then. Maybe I'll put it on and watch it and see what I think. But it's certainly intriguing from how you've sold it. So if you're thinking the same and you do want to see it, you can, because Hedda is in cinemas from today. Okay, I don't know. I can't call this for film of the week. What are you going to choose?
Oh, Relay. Easily Relay.
Okay. Relay it is.
It's got to be Relay.
What have we got next week then? Let's have a little nosy at some of the movies you're going to watch in between now and then.
Yeah, this is a weird one. So we've got a movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch next week. I hadn't heard of this, but they were at Comic-Con last weekend touting this, which is about a grieving father. It's called The Thing with Feathers. So don't quite know what to expect from that. I hadn't heard of it, but okay. Anemone, which is the new movie starring Daniel Day-Lewis. This is his return. Like Daniel Day-Lewis's return to the screen in a movie directed by his son. So, nice work if you can get it, buddy. Like, must be nice to have Daniel Day-Bloody-Lewis on speed dial. Yeah, can you imagine that? Oh, I'm going to make a movie. Who should I cast? Well, I do know the world's greatest living actor and share a postbox with him. I wonder if I can ask him. Oh, good for you, pal. Yeah, we should all be so lucky. I think Sean Bean's in it as well. I'm looking forward to it. We've got the documentary The Marbles next week, and Ray Fiennes in The Coral next week as well. So, Rachel, we've got a few things to look at next week.
Lots to look forward to for next week. That is, of course, all we have time for this week on Off Screen. We will return next week. Until then, I've been Adam Ball.
I've been Van Connor. Keep it cinematic, and we shall be back.
This podcast is part of the Mercury Network. To find your next favourite show, like mine, 5 Random Questions, visit mercurypodcast.com now.
Hello?
What's your favourite scary podcast?
My parents bought our family home when I was 8. We were so excited. But I was wrong. The house was only just getting started. There would most likely be an axe-wielding maniac who would chop me into 20 pieces. And that's when I saw them. Feet descending the stairs with a soft thump, thump, thump. We sprinted up the stairs because someone was clearly breaking into the house. I'm Beth, and this is Spooky Storytime. A 3-part Halloween special begins on Sunday, the 26th of October. Listen to the podcast now, or follow us on Patreon for exclusive early access to all 3 chapters before it's too late.